Hey folks, my name's Austin, and I like cigars. As a general rule, I enjoy one cigar every day at a minimum for the sake of my mental health. Now, unfortunately, I'm faced with something of a problem. One that I'm sure you're familiar with. If you don't experience it yourself, you've heard it from someone else. I live in Northwest Ohio. It's winter. It's miserable. It is at the most 30 degrees every day. The wind's usually right around 30 miles per hour because it's all flat land. Not the kind of situation in which you want to enjoy a cigar. I've spent some time thinking about this, and I have found a solution. It actually works. It's very effective, and I smoke in absolute comfort every single day. Now, this may not work for everybody. All right, I'm going to outline my situation real quick here. One, I live in a one-bedroom apartment. All right. I can't build a shed. I don't have a garage. I can't modify my deck to build a smoke shack out there. Not an option. Two, I'm a reclusive hermit. I don't have any friends that smoke cigars, so I can't go over to their place. And three, my favorite brick and mortar, the Cigar Fair in Maumee, Ohio, fantastic place. They're 40 minutes away. I'm not driving that every single day to enjoy a cigar. So I needed to find an alternate solution. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to break down my solution and show you how it works. And then I'm going to critique it. What I'm hoping to do here is not necessarily, show off something that I created, because really the construction of it is pretty subpar, as you're going to see. But, certainly not a professional job. But what I'm really hoping to achieve here is to bring a solution out to the community so that you folks can see what I've found as a solution and perhaps modify it to meet your own needs for your situation. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to my creation, the Herfomatic 3000. Check it out. This is my solution. Alright, as you can see, basically it is an overhang on top of my couch with a set of piping that goes to my sliding door, and it's inserted into a piece of wood. I'm going to start here and kind of work my way through the whole system and explain every component of it and how it works. Alright, standard piece of wood, alright, about 1 inch thick. I took some adhesive insulation, weather stripping, put it all the way around the exterior, and that generally seals it so that I don't get any flow back, cigar smelling air flowing back into the apartment. Up here, I have a 6-inch one-way duct cap that you would find on the end of like a dryer vent. They don't make them in any larger sizes, otherwise I would have an 8-inch here, but this is a 6-inch to 8-inch converter. So I've got my 8-inch pipe running down to a 90-degree bend, and then a 10-inch adapter. That I have crammed part of a regular house fan into, just a fan that you'd put on your bedstand or whatever. That's a pretty high-powered fan, Vortex something or another. I'll put the details in the link. But I wired that up to that switch there. And also, I took another fan of the same exact model, and I inserted it into the piping right here. It has a 7.5-inch diameter, so it fit pretty well into the 8-inch piping. I wired that into the same switch so that when I hit the switch, it starts moving air. I estimate that it moves air at about 500 CFM, which is cubic feet per hour. The actual unit itself is a piece of plywood, just a regular 1-inch plywood. I think it's 48 by 60 inches. That's the top here. I have it reinforced with 2x4 underneath that. And I have the entire thing surrounded with cardboard for aesthetics, which I then painted. It's supported by 1-inch dowel rods, also painted. If you take a look here on the inside, you can see that I have paneling set up that kind of goes up at an angle to lead the cigar smoke. Oops, yeah, go ahead, screw it up. Good job there, buddy. It kind of leads the cigar smoke toward my ventilation system. Here's a shot from below. Try and get a good angle here. And that's generally what it looks like. Now, what that is comprised of is cardboard that I've coated with spray adhesive and then covered with aluminum foil. I used metal tape in order to seal all the cracks to make it completely, relatively airtight. The reason I did this is because I wanted it to be a non-porous surface on the inside so that it didn't absorb any of the smell of the cigar smoke as it cycles it out of the apartment. So that is the general breakdown of the whole unit. I attached the piping via duct tape. Pretty simple, self-explanatory there. This was about, I'd say, 2 or 3 days of construction and building, and really, I was doing it off the top of my head. I didn't have a very thorough design plan. Some of the cuts are uneven, but it is functional. Now, obviously, when you have a system that is drawing 500 cubic feet per hour of air, you need to replace that. So my initial intent was to have another piece of wood set up in my kitchen window. Now, it would have a 6-inch hole, it would have an intake, and I would hook it up to flex pipe, and then run it through a regular space heater with a fan. And you see there's a little fan there. Now, unfortunately, these fans only operate at about 100 CFM at most. Unless you get a full-size garage heater or some other, large industrial heater, it's not going to provide the 500 CFM that this is going to pull out. Now, if I have too much negative pressure in the apartment, it's going to overpower the fans that I have pulling air out of the apartment. So I don't want that to happen. I need to resupply air. Well, my solution wound up being very simple. 500 CFM is actually not that much. It's about one room full of air for every hour. Now, a cigar takes about an hour. So what I have decided to do is simply open the window. And that provides enough air transfer for that fan to operate at full capacity without being overloaded. Not a bad deal. It also drops the temperature in my apartment about 10 degrees, which is tolerable. It only takes about an hour or two for the temperature in the apartment to recover. Now, I'm going to review my construction real quick. That's the first part. So we've discussed how this mechanism works. I'm going to talk about the issues that I've had during construction and some of the operational issues that I've had while maintaining it over the last week of use. 1, I need to figure out a better way of attaching my piping. Duct tape itself is not working. There's a little bit of pressure here on this part of the piping, and it's breaking the seal. Now, this is causing 2 major issues. When this seal starts to loosen and break, it makes this entire portion sag downward. And that has me worried that it's going to fall apart, of course. And it also breaks the actual airtight seal here on this corner. So that allows air being pushed from this fan to come out here. That lessens the amount of pull on our, on the overhead portion, and it allows contaminated air to come out through here. It's still getting pulled by this fan. It's located right about here, but it's still getting about a 20% loss, which is introducing contaminated cigar smoke air back into the apartment. Unacceptable. That needs to be fixed. I'm thinking about taking metal brackets and screwing them in place all the way around and then sealing it with duct tape. I think that would take some of the strain off. I also need to duct tape on these corners. These have a little bit of a gap in them. I noticed a small amount of air coming through there. I need to seal that as well. Also, there's an issue of stability. Now, initially I tried just holding this up with 1-inch with these 1-inch rods, wooden rods. Not great. As you see, it does shake a little bit. Not too bad. It's somewhat stable. Occasionally I bump it with my leg, and it makes it shake a bit. Kind of has me worried. What I wound up doing is taking some metal bars and bolting it in place to the wooden frame, but it's still not super stable. What I would do if I had the opportunity to redo this wouldn't be cardboard, because right now all this is cardboard. The only wood is this portion right here, all the way across the top. What I would do is I would make the entire compartment out of the particle board. And I think that would add stability, and it would also give me, I could screw in right here all the way up, and it would provide much greater stability for these rods holding it in place. Also, surprisingly, I originally developed this baffling system in order to guide the smoke towards the vent. That's not it's not working very effectively, unfortunately. It is working very well. I can smoke in here I can smoke 2 cigars back to back, and you can only tell that I've been smoking within a few feet of the couch. However, before I put this baffling in, I did smoke a couple of cigars without the baffling, when it was just box. Like this went straight up, and it was just one square box with these sides on. And that actually did a better job of containing the smoke. For some reason, I don't know if it's some sort of, static electricity or something. For some reason, the cigar smoke attaches to this, and sometimes it runs over the edge. It's not a very bad problem, and it works great the way it is right now, but I'm considering returning it back to its box format and continuing to use this coated cardboard, but you just return it back to a box-style configuration on the inside. I think that would be more effective. The fans are fantastic. I wouldn't suggest modifying that if you're going to go with a very similar approach to this problem. And let's see here. Of course, we've got our intake system. Obviously, I haven't built it yet, and I'm not going to because it doesn't have enough strength. If you deem it necessary, you're going to need at least 2 of those, and I would go for a little bit more high-powered model. Either that, or you could take a different styled heater and run a baffling system that would basically allow you to connect an inline fan to it that would force air through at 500 CFM. That would be another solution. But again, with my situation, my apartment setup, and how fast my apartment can reheat, and the amount of impact that having the window open actually has, I don't think it's entirely necessary. So, take what you will from that. This, folks, that pretty much wraps it up. If you got any questions or comments, let me know. Let me see here. I'm going to resituate myself here and give you a little demonstration. This is my celebratory smoke. I usually don't smoke cigars that are this expensive, but this is a rare occasion. I'm celebrating. This is an Arturo Fuente Añejo. Not quite sure on the size, but one of my very favorite cigars. It's actually not that loud. All I have to do is turn up my TV a couple clicks, I can hear it just fine. No issues. I don't know if you can see the cigar smoke, but as you can see, it's shooting pretty much straight up. You get a little toast going on there. Oh man, God, I love these things. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Smoke right up the fan. So leave me a comment if you've got any ideas as to how to improve this little device. Let me know. Share it with people. I just want to get the word out there. I think this is a very unique solution to a problem that a lot of people are suffering from. Let me know. Give me some feedback. I'd like to hear from you. And if you find this useful, please let me know. I'd love to get some validation for completing this project, besides, of course, my own enjoyment. So, Long Ashes Brothers, have a good one. Thanks for watching the video. I'll see you around.